All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the Ed Namrock podcast. And joining me today is Kareem Abdullah. But before I introduce his brother, I wanted to thank Kareem. Thank you for doing this with me. You're quite the gentleman, I must say.
Thank you.
This makes for interesting conversation because it's not just about the typical norm stuff. I like to go creative and talk about a lot of the stuff that we like to talk about, which is music production and the audio world. But hey, man, say what's up.
What's up, man? I was hopefully we could talk about some wrestling, man. I was on your IG page.
Oh, yes. Okay, cool.
He knows about, my brother knows about the wrestling. I did plenty of wrestling moves on him growing up. I'm not trying it now, but you know.
I will introduce his brother, who is Ameer Abdullah. Most of you know him as the WWE SmackDown Live champion. But anyway, Ameer Abdullah, Detroit Lions running back. How you doing, man?
Man, what's up, y'all? Man, wrestling scarred me emotionally and physically as a child. So that is something I definitely need to get off my chest. So this is a perfect event. So I appreciate that subject.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, let's get right to it. So interesting that you should bring up professional wrestling because I have been a loyal professional wrestling guru since I can remember owning the old hard rubber, like plastic action figures. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
And I had Hulk Hogan that always had the left leg that would break. And it's because I was trying to do the leg drop on it all the time and I would always break it. And hence like the glue and the tape and stuff like that. But did you guys own any action figures growing up?
I always somehow managed to get one, but I know my parents didn't buy me one, so I never knew how I got it. But I always had one. Is that not true, Kareem? Like, we always had something.
Yeah.
But I knew, like, wait, my parents would never buy me this. So, like, how the heck did this get here? But, you know, somebody has sticky fingers. I'm not for that.
I was good with the 5-finger discount.
So, well, I mean, you guys grew up in Alabama, right?
Yeah.
So what was it like? Is professional wrestling big in Alabama? Or
Yes.
No? It is?
Yes. They would come like at least twice a quarter.
Really?
Maybe not twice a quarter, but I know 4 times out the year they were in Birmingham. I never got a chance to go.
Oh, man. How about you, Amir? Did you ever go to a house show?
No, we never got to go, but one of the coolest experience I had was I was a huge CC's Pizzas fan. And right next to the CC's Pizza was like a health clinic or like a rehabilitation, like rehab center, right?
Yeah.
So one time, Kareem, I think you were with me, and Kevin Nash was outside.
Oh, man. Are you serious?
Yeah, he was like 6'7" tall dude.
Yeah,
I'm like,
he's
wait,
a
that's
giant.
Kevin Nash, you know, and you know, I wouldn't have known that. No typical person just knows that's, you know, who Kevin Nash is. I was like, dang, this is crazy. But yeah, Kareem's right. They used to always come to Birmingham at least like twice a year.
Oh, that is awesome. So let me ask you guys this. Who was your guys' favorite wrestlers growing up?
It changed with time. I guess personality-wise, just because he was about that action. He didn't really say much.
Yeah.
Probably X-Pac.
Oh, yeah,
X-Pac.
man.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
About that action, you know, he didn't really say much. There wasn't much antics behind him, behind stage. He wasn't like a core guy like that.
Yeah.
But the way he carried himself, I think X-Pac was dope.
Yeah, man. I think, I'm assuming you guys were fans of D-Generation X when they were coming up, right?
That was it. My favorite, I would probably say The Rock because it's The Rock.
Yeah.
But the best move, HBK, Sweet Chin Music.
Oh, my God.
Sweet Chin Music.
That's something you see in street fights now. It's
I
becoming
can't
norm.
think how many fights started between me and Kareem with one of us trying to sweet chin music coming up and connecting on some silly shit. And we just going at it, just like, how did this even start? Like, how did the fight even start over sweet chin music? Like, what?
Oh, my God. That is so
You say to your
funny.
parents, you go to your parents, how did this start? He sweet chin music me. Like, what? They're like, what the heck are you talking about? Like,
All right, let me ask you guys this question. Who would bust a move first on each other? Was Kareem on you or vice versa?
It was me. I used to strike it off, but I never finished it. I lost every fight. That's probably why I'm winning now. I didn't win a single fight in my house, and I'm proud of that shit. Like, I'm proud of it. You know what I'm saying? And it really made me who I am today. Like, I'm a tough dude now, and it's just like, I get beat down like that. I don't know how. Dude, yeah, straight up. I was started. I remember one time I was throwing like this stick in the air or something, and like it kind of.
Oh, he said it was a bat.
A little bit and hit Kareem in the face. It was like And I felt bad, but I didn't have time to reflect. I had to get the hell out of there because I knew he was coming. So I never got to apologize. So I didn't mean that. That was an accident, bro.
It's all good, man.
All right, Kareem, what was your favorite move to execute?
Oh man, we had a friend that had a trampoline, and trampoline means Royal Rumble. Like we had the music going on.
Yes.
People would have their theme song. You run out. My favorite move was the Goldberg spear because you cannot block it. You can't block it.
Did he ever spear you with that, Ameer?
Oh man, plenty of times. He's a tactical fighter too. I pray for the soul that runs up on Kareem in public thinking that he's fluke. You would never seen. Like Kareem will spear you. You're already dazed on the ground. Like I give up. And then he'll put you in the most well executed figure four you've ever seen in life, and just break your leg until you just can't take anymore.
That is awesome.
He's like McGregor.
Man, so you would bust a figure four?
Yeah, I think about it, I actually wrestled in the 7th grade.
Yeah,
because of WWE.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was that inspired.
Wow.
That didn't last long.
That's interesting. You know what's interesting too is I was asking Kareem if the both of you had similar taste in music growing up, and what changed, who liked what group, what rapper, and I bought this. Back then it was what, CDs and cassette tapes.
Yeah.
Who bought what first? Oh, can I borrow it? Can I record it? Can I burn it? What did you grow up listening to, Ameer?
Man, the dynamic between me and Kareem's like music relationship is really funny. Because when I was young, Kareem's always been a very conscious person. He thinks before he speaks, you know what I mean? Before he acts, and that's all a reflection of what kind of music he always listens to.
Right.
Things that's going to uplift you and teach you things, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even when at a young age, me and Kareem are 4 years apart. So say I was like 10, because I've been listening to music for a while. So when I was 10, I consider myself a big time music guy, even at the age of 10. You know, so Kareem was like 14, and at the time, Kareem would be listening to Outkast, Nas, Jay-Z, obviously, things real conscious, going to teach you something.
Yeah.
And I have appreciation for that. But at that time, I was real street gangster. Like, really, and that's one consistent me and Kareem have always shared in music. No matter, sometimes I like some things he may not like and vice versa. One thing we share is we love gangster music. and if you can manipulate a song to where it's actually a good direction and it's not just I kill, I steal like this, just direct messages. Yeah. Something can really spice it up.
Yep.
But it's still some gangster ass shit.
Yep.
Me and Kareem, we love it. I remember Kareem put me on 50 Cent. I'm over there trying walking to school.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like 10, and of course this gangster and this stuff that I can't relate with, but it was something about that rhythm, something about it melodically how 50 came from that album that Kareem was like, I got to share this with my little brother because I know he gonna love it. And since then, I started to trust him more as a person. That's crazy how all this stuff is connected. Like, he was so right about music. I started trusting more about life. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's arguably one of the greatest rap records in history.
Yeah, definitely top 10. Easy.
I never heard anything like that. And then when you get Eminem talking about, I want to quit the rap game because of this guy, I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense.
Nah.
And I'm in Detroit. I can't say anything about Eminem here, man.
Man, he is like the advocate of Detroit. He's the guy. I mean, I know his history. I know his story. Well, I'm a huge fan of his albums. Not to mention, I think this guy has a bigger extended vocabulary than the thesaurus itself, man. It's just that deep. Man, that's crazy. So you turned your little brother into 50 Cent.
50 Cent. 50 Cent, man. That was the
And from there, I can continue. I mean, from there, it went for more things I can relate to, more Southern, Yeah. I started to appreciate T.I. when I was young. Yeah. Well, Kareem can attest to this. From like the age of like 12 to probably about 16, 17, T.I. was my favorite rapper. When Urban Legend came out, it was something about it. The way he spoke was similar to how the people spoke where I was from. The way what he talked about was what I saw. Wow. It wasn't like a Jay-Z that's in New York, but he's speaking these elegant things. I'm from Alabama. Come on now.
Yeah.
We're not really saying much, so I couldn't relate as much. So when T.I. came on the scene as well, when Lil Wayne came on as well, had this hot streak where he was the greatest rapper alive for a while. You know, those two guys were, you know, the next level of that kind of mix between gangster rap, but just still pure hip hop.
Yeah. I mean, I can relate too because over here in the West Coast, growing up in LA, yeah, ironically, I'm a Patriots fan. So,
yeah, I know, right?
We had Dre, we had Snoop Dogg, we had Corrupt, we had Cypress Hill, because Cypress Hill is kind of from the area that I was from. But I get what you mean. Like, you hear these lyrics and you're like, wait a minute, they're speaking my language, just in a very musical tone. It's odd to me that a lot of people that kind of downplayed this style of music for a long time did not see not only the musical value behind it, because it was stereotyped, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, basically, you know, guns and violence. But not all of them were like that. Not all of them.
Yeah, it's like some people would hear a certain word. Like, my dad would not allow rap in the house,
Whoa,
period. On my
really?
13th birthday, my sister got me, I think it was like a Cash Money CD, like, or something like that. My dad found it.
Did she really?
Pissed. It was Aisha got it for me. It was
it would be Aisha. Continue. It would be her.
Yeah, it was it's the Big Timers album. I think the name of it was Hood Rich or something like that.
I think it was Hood Rich, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And some stuff in rap, of course they're going to curse and stuff because, I mean, that's just how people talk. And my dad, it's like 2 or maybe even 3 generations removed from me.
So he's super OG, man.
Super OG. Like,
wow.
So
now, you know, when you get your dad as a super OG, you're like, oh, you're walking on pins and needles all the time.
Straight up. And it's crazy.
Yeah,
My first
he
album.
walked over time, but he back in the day, that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Did he ever spank you guys?
My dad didn't, but my mom, quickest backhand in the world.
Damn.
Backhand, ill.
Moms are the worst, man.
Maybe we would have lost. Maybe we would have lost. You saw he almost got that work anyways. My mom would have dropped his ass.
Oh man. Yeah, it's always your mom you gotta look out for, man. Because I mean, would she get on you guys if you guys cuss around the house or anything like that?
Oh, that's out the question.
Like that. We were pretty well mannered. We had our own issues between each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like when it came to the parents, we were for the most part respectful. We'd get out of line every now and then, but it wasn't like
my parents are old school, man.
Around the house doing, you know what I mean? My
other question too is other than the music, because I know music for me pretty much is life, especially in any profession, especially what we're doing now, from sports to entertainment. But what about movies? What did you guys grow up watching? What influenced you guys, like growing up in Alabama? Like, what did you guys see? Television shows, movies? Did you guys go out to the movies?
I already know. The number one movie that inspired me, Star Wars.
Really?
Big Star Wars fan because the sounds as a kid, it's like, how do they make the sounds? And that's how I'm here now. It's like, I don't even know what is that? What type of instrument is that? It's not an instrument. They created that sound. How'd they do it?
Yeah. Let me guess, Ameer, were you a Star Wars fan too?
It's crazy. So a lot of people, this is a fact a lot of people don't know about me and my brother Kareem. We're actually Irish twins. We have the same birthday, but we're 4 years apart.
Wow.
So we kind of do share that telekinesis between each other, like that twin connection.
That's
I knew he was going to say Star Wars because that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And we actually had this conversation last time I was in LA. It's difference between like movie music and like obviously just regular music.
Right.
Because in a movie music, you should be able to close your eyes and the emotion and the violins and the orchestra and everything that's been flowing, you should feel the climax and the falls of the story without even seeing what's going on. You should be able to close your eyes. And we were speaking about that, and I feel like Star Wars really brings that element to the table where when the dark side is pulling up, you get that dun, 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 it really gets intense. You just like, in your heart, you feel like, oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. I know the feeling.
Like, it's like, back, Satan, back. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? That is something that's very overlooked, and I feel like a lot of people don't understand what goes into the sound engineering aspect of movies.
Yeah, I totally feel it because I remember I put it to a parent one time that stubbornly refused to accept that this was a profession. Like, we actually got paid to do this stuff. And I went ahead and told the parent, like, hey, so what's your favorite show? And he said, oh, I like watching Narcos on Netflix. I'm like, cool. Do you ever watch that show on mute? And he's like, what? I'm like, you ever watch that show on mute, like with the volume down? He's like, no, I turn that shit up. I'm like, yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we do.
I mean, how
like,
they think it works.
Yeah, exactly. And then, Ameer, you being a professional athlete, you ever see the guys on the sidelines with the mics?
All the time, man. There's a bunch of those dudes. Their shoulder strength is immaculate.
Yes.
Some of the terrain that we play in snow, rain, wind. These dudes are holding these mics that are like this wide.
Yep.
Track just on fleek all day.
Yep. Yeah, it's quite they get paid the pretty bucks for that, because it's and then, if you get a guy like Ameer running on the sideline, you go crack.
Oh yeah. Those dudes get smoked too. They get smoked.
Yeah. I seen them and the camera people on the sideline. I'm like, oh man, that looked expensive first and foremost. But it's like, yeah, man, everything like from take for example NFL films. So you see all that stuff, all the music. Obviously, the visuals are king. They're always going to be king. But I don't remember watching a YouTube video, on mute or with the volume down, unless it's like some that's horribly like recorded, lousy, like all those John Cena memes. I don't know if you've seen those.
Unless you're a teenager watching something that night, you're not supposed to be watching. The sound is on.
Right, exactly. Like I
just got that one.
The one with the P, the O, the R, the N, the HUB.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed a trend of a lot of teenagers watching video game playthroughs, like just people playing a video game and kind of giving their commentary. But do you guys play video games at all or no?
No, that kind of fell off for me. I play FIFA for every now and then if I have a buddy over, but I don't really play consistently enough to call myself a gamer.
Right, yeah. How about you, Kareem?
No, I don't play any games. I actually just sold my PlayStation 4. I was thinking about buying an Xbox One, depending on what Ameer has.
Yeah, I got an Xbox One.
Yeah, I might get one because my nephew has one. Yeah. So I want to play with him.
So that you just play online?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. What about Madden, Ameer? Do you play Madden?
I do, man. I want to get more into it. I haven't played this year's one.
Yeah, this new one with I think Tom Brady made the cover on this one.
Oh,
yeah. It's been like two Patriots players. And I know you had to shoot that in.
Oh, man.
It's been two Patriots players the last 3 years. Oh, goodness, Patriots. We get it.
Yeah, but everyone talks about that curse. And I'm like, what curse?
Like, you'll find out.
Well, I don't know. I mean, because I've seen a couple of players that actually did well when they came on the cover. Like Odell was one of them.
Odell got the cover?
Yeah. It was like 3 or 4 years ago.
His rookie year, yeah.
Yeah, and he did. That's when he had that awesome one-handed catch.
If you believe in the hype, I feel like the universe is connected. If you start to believe in that hype of whatever's going to happen to you, or if something is real and the supernatural, then you're going to draw that attention. It's going to happen. So I feel like a lot of people just, if you feed into that hype, man.
Yeah.
When did Vic get the cover?
Michael Vick got the cover back in 2000 and I want to say 2.
Because Eddie George was 01.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, we played that on Nintendo 64.
Oh, man. Talk about old school N64. You remember the controller would kind of like bruise you?
Yo,
you would have sore thumbs.
Irresponsible design job. If you think about that shit, bro, what the fuck is that? It can really come with more than that, man. I'm very disappointed in Nintendo for that edition.
Oh, man. That was a big staple with the remote. Exactly.
Why did you have to go with this? What is that? Like, what are you calling it?
Nintendo tries.
Who signed off?
Exactly. Well, what other video game systems did you guys have growing up? Did you guys have a Super Nintendo?
Yeah, we had everything.
Yeah,
we had just about
we actually had an Atari at one point.
Man, talk about old school.
I never played it. I was too young, but the Atari, it was there. It just didn't work when I was born.
Wow.
Shows you how old my family is. We got a big old family.
Yeah.
But, favorite system.
Dreamcast changed the game.
Dreamcast, the favorite system.
With the graphics. That was when graphics started to really shift with like Crazy Taxi and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then PlayStation 2 came out.
Yeah,
and
I remember PlayStation 2.
Was like, all right, I started playing Twisted Metal.
Oh, man.
Twisted Metal. stuff like that. And then Xbox came out, and me and Kareem jumped on that bandwagon ASAP. Jumped on that. We got freaking Madden was finally getting better. They finally ended NBA Live. Thankfully, that game was terrible.
I remember that, and I was like, yes, finally. So,
and it just kept ascending.
No, what was it? Dreamcast had they had Tekken, right?
Tekken.
Yeah, and Law was my favorite character. The guy that looked like Bruce Lee. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Oh man! And then it was just a button masher, just boom, 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 start banging at people.
If you play Tekken, you didn't take the time to learn the moves. You end up doing
I see what this does.
You end up doing the most lit combo ever when you just hit just like
you do it once.
Like crazy stuff. You like what?
Can't do it again.
Oh man, that's hilarious because it's true. Because you wouldn't. I think at that point you can. I don't know back then, but remember you would be able to hit the start button, and then all the cheat menu will come out. And I don't think Dreamcast had that back then. No, you had to buy all those. Remember, like Electronic Gaming Monthly, and all those other crazy like GameStop and Electronics Boutique like magazines, or just man.
Think about this. Virtual reality, with investments and everything, it's all about timing.
Oh, yeah.
Virtual reality, when it first came out a while ago, was so ahead of its time that it missed its timing of being great. Because now it's coming back into a lot of workspaces and stuff, and it's a very marketable, thing now.
Yep.
Which, if you invested in it now, back then, and pulled out, you're probably going to be pissed off. Because it's about to blow up.
That's funny you should mention that because it did catch on like a few years back, and then it just completely just disappeared.
It kind of does that. It'll show up really quickly, and you think, oh, this is going to be the next thing. Then it disappears. Like they have those goggles for like the Samsung.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to be a big deal. I don't know anyone that has it besides like my buddy back home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it does. Yeah, it's
you think that's going to be a consistent thing with that, or you think it's going to eventually catch on, or just eventually die out?
Well, check this out. I've been in contact with a lot of virtual reality developers in the UK, for example, and what they're doing is bringing the concert experience to your phone with the goggles. And I thought, I'm like, oh, okay, you can. Just see a couple of things. No, it actually feels like you're inside.
It's crazy.
And they showed, I think it was a Beyonce concert, and you actually go walk to the dressing room and she's in there. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This is awesome. And yeah, exactly. You know where this is going. And it's funny because it's all UK beta testing. None of it is over here yet. I'm sure we got some people over here in the States doing it. But I don't know what it is about these Brits, man. They just get so obsessive about all this new stuff, and then it just not to say that the U.S. has a big influence in all this new technology, because we do, but they come out with some of the most bizarre stuff, man. And that was one of them. And I was like, holy crap! And literally, Ameer, you put it on, and it's like if you were walking into if you're just walking into a space, it was kind of weird, and it didn't feel natural, but I can see that being the norm now. Like, oh yeah, you want to go see let's go see Jay-Z real quick. What do you mean real quick?
Man,
just throw these on.
If that happens, that would be crazy, because that's a whole nother like industry to get into. But with virtual reality, it kind of scares me a little bit, because we already don't leave the house. Like I went to the bookstore earlier today just to look at books so I can order them on Amazon. You know what I'm saying? Because it's cheaper. You know what I'm saying? I don't go to the movies. I watch Netflix. And then if you give me a concert at the house, I'll probably never leave the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not something that I look forward to seeing with all the youth, especially, because they'll never leave.
No. That reminds me. Have you guys seen, since we're on the topic of movies and sound engineering, have you guys ever seen the movie WALL-E?
Yes, I have.
That movie is actually, I think, very educational.
Yes, it is actually.
We should watch that movie because exactly what we're speaking on essentially is taking the productivity away from America of being active people.
Right. Yes, he's absolutely right. Yeah,
so
it's true.
That's what these devices are doing. No, why get out, go to a concert? You can have it at home. Why go out to the movie because you can have it on Netflix? Why order when you can use Grubhub, which I use tonight?
Right. You know what's funny is I forgot the name of the service, but I think I don't know if Mark Zuckerberg has a hand on it, but it's a new service that you pay annually. And all the new movies that are going to come out at the theater, you get to watch at home. So that's going to make literally the movie theater experience is just going to disappear. And what's the point? Because, all right, why go to the movies when we can just watch it at home? That's like that. Yeah, I don't know about that. So
once they get you on a subscription, because that's what it is. You get them on a subscription, like $9 a month. I never go to a movie. I watch all the movies at home.
Yeah, that's something I'm not. Oh man, that's going to defeat the purpose of going out.
That's probably going to happen. I can see that happening for sure. I can see that happening.
Would you be a subscriber, Ameer? Like if they say, okay, Ameer, we're going to offer you $100 a year, and you only pay $9.99 for each new movie that comes out at the movie theater, and you get to choose which one.
Unlimited?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm watching that. Yeah, watch that.
Okay, see, customer close, easy.
So,
it starts.
And it just starts. Because times are changing don't mean like they're always bad either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be something that's, that'd be pretty cool. But it would just suck for the people who are in the movie owning business. Like we have this movie theater, this state movie theater here called Imagine Theaters, and they're only like in the state of Michigan. And I know the guy who owns it. And I mean, he's doing really well because the theaters are booming, and he owns pretty much every big time movie theater in the state. But if that really came in and happened, that would cripple him and he would have to sell well before, in anticipation of what, could potentially come.
Right. I mean, I don't know if you guys see this working like this before, but you guys remember when the whole music pirating thing happened early, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. People try to stop it. I remember Lars from Metallica went up to bat for the band and all that stuff. Did not stop it. Now look, you could go on your phone and play the latest and greatest. It doesn't matter, and create your own playlist. And then Kareem's talking about going to a bookstore to see which ones he could buy on Amazon. Yeah. I used to do the same thing at anywhere they would sell CDs and see what came out. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just go ahead and buy this or stream it. Doesn't matter. So it's like I see that happening with film. But I mean, our jobs won't change. We'll be doing the same thing.
Yeah, the work will still be done.
But like the whole experience, actually exiting your house, getting into a vehicle, and then going to a building.
No.
Because
even with Amazon, they have the Amazon. What's the thing that happens while you call Amazon, or you order Amazon? They come to your house that day.
Prime.
Amazon Prime is in 2 days, but they have another one that comes
there's
same day shipping.
Gold or something.
Yeah, and then they got the drones too now, like coming with the boxes.
That's crazy.
Man, I seen one of those. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I was like, oh shit! I thought it was like an eagle. I'm like, eagles over here. I'm like, what's going on, man? But it's like, you haven't seen that, Ameer? The drones? You haven't seen the drones?
Not in person. So.
Oh man, it's something out of like. It's not an ordinary drone like the ones you buy at.
No, it's a huge one.
Yeah, it looks like a little mini airplane, and it has clamps on it.
5 feet in diameter. It's like 5 feet in diameter.
Yeah, it's like a person. Mm-hmm. It's like, what are you guys doing? That's a weepon. Like, what if the delivery person just hits someone in the head or something and just busts his forehead open?
They know it's a weapon. Yeah, that's why the people who walk on that, they want us to know that they know. So
exactly.
Try something. We're gonna, you know what I mean? Like,
it's just not.
No, y'all are under our will.
Like, oh, you want a package? Hold up real quick.
We're not going there tonight. We're not going there tonight.
I ain't gotta worry about me. I'm not trying nothing.
Exactly.
I'm in my house reading the book that I got off of Amazon and watching Netflix.
let me. Oh, what's that?
I own coconut oil. You don't have to worry about me, bro.
Oh, nice. Hey, that coconut oil is legit, though.
Organic user. Don't worry about me. I'm good. I'm no threat. I am no threat.
So I know you're on a strict regime during the season, Ameer, but what's your favorite cheat meal?
Right now,
I know there's a lot.
These chicken tacos.
Damn.
These chicken tacos from this place called Blackfin around the corner.
Oh man, that just sounds good.
They're really good. Yeah. Nice and unhealthy.
Oh wow.
Just how I like it. But but like you said, I'm on a real strict diet typically. Like I don't eat red meat really anymore.
Yeah.
Don't really eat too much chicken anymore. I just probably animal protein.
Yeah.
This is like fish. Then I eat a lot of beans and stuff like that. I try to keep pretty clean, but
hot sauce or no hot sauce?
No, they don't need it, man. They come with this special sauce.
That's
I'm gonna have to try some, man.
The taste. It's not just you can go find this taste anywhere type of dish.
Yeah.
Like blackfin taco.
Damn, that sounds good. I'm gonna have to look that up. So yeah, and they only have it in Michigan, right?
I don't know.
Man, that's something I gotta look at. 'Cause we have some pretty exotic places over here where we're at. We have this place called Fat Sal's. Have you eaten there yet?
No, where?
It's right up the street on Highland here on Santa Monica. And literally, like, sandwiches look like they're just piled on with, like, just heart attack. It's that. It's just like you look at it. Let me get the open heart special. Yeah, it's like triple bypass combo, please. It's that thick. It's like, oh shit. Like, but you look at it, you're like, damn. Like, you won't be able to finish it.
You can't finish it.
Yeah. Like I like if we go, I have to split one. Like if I split it with your bro, dude, he probably won't eat that half all the way, and neither will I. So
diabetes is just inevitable.
Oh yeah, it's just like, let me get the high glucose meat. What I wanted to actually ask you is, what's on your playlist right now? And then, okay, this is the hat that I wanted to jump into, where I ask about the preparatory about what you do before game time, because I know everyone's different in the locker room.
Yeah.
So what's on your playlist? And tell me about your kind of like your ritual. Like, you get up in the morning before the game. Do you have water? Do you have juice? Do you have coffee? Does the music immediately come into play, or does it kind of work up to your routine?
I got you. So I'm gonna give you like the throughout the week, and then as the weekend comes, it gets more intense because you get closer to the game.
Damn.
But
nice.
So Mondays is a day. Well, my typical playlist throughout the week is alternative and like electronic is probably my favorite two genres.
Oh, nice. All right. Cool.
Because it has. I'm not gonna say it's my favorite, but it has the most bands that I like.
Right.
In totality in those genres. Then in hip hop, it's only a few people that I like really.
Yeah.
But I like a lot in alternative and electronic. So I'm listening to Blood Orange is one of my favorite groups.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, Hiatus Coyote. Kareem actually introduced them to me.
I think you've mentioned that before. Yeah.
You know an album's good when it's like you've listened to it for a while and it's still growing on you.
Yeah.
It's like still growing on you, the Glass Animals, I think they're really creative. So I mean I like to listen to stuff like that throughout the week just because I feel like it helps me really expand my mind and expand like where I can think my potential is as a person, because I'm only going to go as far as how I believe I'm going to go.
Exactly.
It kind of gives me that kind of emotion that possibilities are out there. You just got to think it and put it in your possibility box, and then eventually you can break that motherfucker open. You know what I'm saying?
Possibility box. I like this.
That's a smart young man. I don't know if he's that way because of me or in spite of me, but either way, that's a smart dude, man.
I appreciate that, bro. Man, as the weekend gets closer, I listen to a lot of music from artists that I consider pure to their roots, where they never kind of believe the mainstream, like, quote, status quo. They always stay true to hip hop, or they always stay true to whatever. So like J. Cole.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, like Nas, guys like that who really make me feel like getting better is a good feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like the come up. So, it's like Friday, Saturday, I'm listening to a lot of those dudes that, really get my mind tough. That's like, you know what? Nothing in this life happens without hard work. That's what that kind of music does to me. It teaches me that if you want something, sitting back and talking about it all the time, it's not how you're going to get it. You got to go get it, and nothing happens without you being tried through hard work, because everyone's trying to get it.
Exactly.
Everyone's trying to get it. You know what I'm saying? If it was easy, everyone would just be doing the bare minimum and prospering in all kind of ways in life. But it's not the people who do the bare minimum that are prospering. It's the dudes that are going far and beyond every morning, routine-based, doing the same thing to be satisfied with the ordinary things, which is just always making up your bed, always doing this, always doing that, and becoming such a creature of habit that takes you a level, where it is no potential for you.
Right. Yeah, and you mentioned the bed making too. That's like the most overlooked thing. Man.
That's what that kind of music does for me.
Yeah.
But game day, this is when it gets crazy. Game day is crazy. So I listen to the same song, because I always shower at the same time before game day, depending on the time slots of the game. So if it's like a 4:30 game, or like I said, a night game, like 7 o'clock game, I'll shower in the morning around like noon. Now I eat breakfast first and then shower. And then on repeat until I get to the stadium, I listen to this one song. It's going to be really weird. Alina Barez, Unfold.
Oh,
wow, really?
Ooh, you know that one?
Yeah.
State, but it's still real funky that you just like, you grooving all day. Like, I'm really relaxed. But
that is
like that
that's
man.
interesting.
I'm still feeling like that man when it's like they can't touch me today, And then when I get to the stadium, Kareem knows I'm ghetto, really. I'm really ghetto. Man. I just hold it back. But one of my favorite rappers growing up was Lil Boosie.
I knew it.
Oh, man.
People don't feel Lil Boosie up here because they don't know what he's talking about. They don't know what he's saying. Like he said, you don't know my struggle.
So you can't judge my hustle.
Like, that's Boosie. So for me, I listen to his song, Set It Off, on repeat, all the way up to game time.
Wow.
Same song, Set It Off.
I've heard that track
about
before.
That song, his delivery on that song was so authoritative and so just like demonstrative that,
Yeah.
He commanded your respect. That's what the song was talking about. Like, y'all was sleeping on me. Now I'm here, and I'm finna strong arm everybody out the game.
Yes.
That's how he came on that track. And I'm like, you know what? Boosie, mood. # mood. Boosie.
Wow. That's deep, man. That is deep. That explains your performance, man, to be honest with you.
It's that kind of routine that makes people great. I know Ali had one. I know Jimi Hendrix had one. I know Michael Phelps has one. You saw Michael Phelps at the Olympics?
Yeah, that face.
He said he was listening to Future. I don't know who can sit there that calm listening to Future. You have some kind of restraint. That's how you know you're a GOAT, if you can sit here like this.
Yep.
Future is fucking comments. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta that. Anybody, man. So locked in because that's his routine. Oh my God, he's about to go off. You saw him.
That is crazy. That is interesting. Yeah. So, do you feel that contributes a lot to not just your performance, but your overall your overall mind state from, like you explained, from the beginning of the week to post game? Does the music continue after you after the game?
Yeah, last year, unfortunately, I got hurt last year early, so I missed a lot of the season. But my rookie year, it was times where I would have a decent game, and I'm trying to figure out why. I'm very self-critical. I'm always trying to figure out why did I have a better game? Why did I, fail in this area? And a lot of times it wasn't what I did in the game. I would attribute it back to, well, I didn't do this day, which is something I typically do, and I wasn't feeling right, and mentally that kind of throws you off. It's like this. If you wake up late, it happens every night. You wake up late for work, and then you can't find your keys. You are frantic as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when you're running late.
And let's go deeper, though. Let's go deeper. Why couldn't you find your keys? I couldn't find my keys because I was lazy when I got home and I didn't put them on my key hook. I just threw them on the coffee table. And when I was watching TV that night, I put my feet on the coffee table and I kicked my keys over and they fell under the pillow. You know what I'm saying? That happens. Then you go to sleep, not doing your routine of checking shit. And then you wake up and you're like, I'm late. It happens. Yeah. But now, double entendre, because where the hell are my keys? you freaking out. You call Uber to work.
Oh man, that's happened to me several times. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
that's just routine. That's why I really believe that, man. That's life. That's everyday life. And it's such an insignificant thing on the grand scheme of what your life may mean. But if you really think about that moment, you can really kind of nullify and simplify life more so it won't be as stressful.
Exactly. You know what's interesting is I always ask about the post-game stuff because I'm a big advocate of children, especially young, especially youth in any sport or in any profession, that, a loss is almost absolute. It's needed for you to grow. During a loss, do you watch any particular movies or listen to any particular music just to kind of alleviate your mind from a loss? I mean, when you lose a game, for example, what do you do to kind of just reverse that effect on you? Or does it stick with you the whole way?
The only reason I'm going to say I don't do anything is because growing and being through different football programs, Nebraska and now the Detroit Lions, one thing that's remained consistent with a lot of the teaching techniques is we take a page out the Marines handbook. We say we don't rise to the occasion, we fall back on our training.
Right.
And every person, most people don't succeed at something, not because they're not talented, it's because they're trying to do something out of supernatural instead of falling back on what they practice every single day. Yeah. So one thing that I do on my spare time is I write, And a lot of times if I try to perform some of my writings to people, if I'm trying to be something else, extra than what I know I am and how I recite my writing, then I'm going to mess up.
Right, exactly.
Calm down and just really feel what I'm saying and really, put myself in the element of what is being expressed, then it's a lot easier. So after a loss, I don't ever feel like I need to change something because that's not who I am. Just come to grips that you lost. You know what I'm saying? That team was better that day. That means you got to be better at the ordinary things that much more this week to get back on track.
Gotcha.
So it's just really just tighten down even more, even being more particular with my work or anything like that. So
that's awesome because, the whole participation trophy thing just kind of like,
oh, man, that kills me.
Yeah, I'm like, I've seen it, and, man, it's like saying, like...
More than that, I don't like fourth place trophies.
Right.
That annoys me, like you're reaching. I've seen a fifth place trophy, and I'm like, yo, you're reaching it. How many people participated? 8?
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I'm saying? And the other 3 get pieces of paper.
Yeah. I think that's one big element of... The spirit of competition, for example. You have to compete in order to get better, because if you don't lose, for example, in our trade, there's people that are better than the best, which is wicked. Like I was like, what is like? It's very foreign to me. Like, how can someone be that good at what they do? But then I look at people that carve out like full on like portrait statues out of wood. And I'm just like, how the fuck do you do that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that? I see you run faster than any human that I've ever seen. Sometimes it's like, and then there's people that run faster than you. It's like, what? What's going on? I'm scratching my head going, what's going on? Okay. Which brings me to this point is you have to know that there's someone better than you. So what's the point of you building, growing, and trying to optimize what you got if you don't know what you're competing against? Right. That's my whole point. It's like, and which brings me to Kareem. It's like Kareem. That's why I kind of brought him in the mix too, because he sees how all this is done now, and some of the stuff I was showing him, I can tell he's like, this is it was new to him, and I've been doing it for a long time. So I'm a professional, but I've been with other people too that I'm just like, holy shit! Like I feel like I got to step my game up, man.
Yeah,
and I'm sure the feeling's mutual for you when you see like you see someone better than you
all the time.
It does one or two things to you: it either scares the shit out of you, or it makes you want to be better than that person. So it's like.
Facts.
And me, I'm so stubborn when it comes to football that I would never even say that guy's better than me. I just say it's something that I'm doing. I'm like, damn, I'm just not hitting the hole like that.
Nice. See, that's the frame right there.
Anybody in my mind, anybody better than me. That's just being real. You know, that's just in this profession, you have to have that mindset. Anybody
exactly.
better. So, but it's tough sometimes when I'm watching. I'm like, damn, he do like, you know, I mean, he may be faster or he is bigger, you know, something like that. But in my mind, I'm just like, well, fuck it. I just gotta move my body a certain way and hit it. But whatever.
Like your brother getting you in a figure 4 lock.
I was training him at a young age as a young Jedi.
I used to snitch
young
on him.
Skywalker.
Well, I used to snitch on you. I was a cop. I was DEA, boy. Kareem, figure 4. I'm telling you. Nice.
Do you still watch wrestling now, Amir?
What'd you say?
Do you still watch wrestling now?
No, man, I don't, man. Kareem put me in one last Walls of Jericho.
Walls of Jericho.
You know, believe it or not, he is still wrestling.
Right? It started by how it emotionally scarred me, right? And physically as well. So I'm only 5'9" and a half. I'm only 5'9" and a half. Really, I'm supposed to be 6'2". But Kareem put me in the Walls of Jericho, snapping one of the vertebrae on my back. And it stopped my growth till I was only going to reach a certain height. So that's what happened to me. So that's the physical.
Man, you can't blame that on me. You gotta blame.
And then emotionally, it was so humiliating because his friends were around that I didn't even want to watch wrestling anymore. Because I see anybody in a submission, I see myself.
You're like, you guys want to see something real quick? Come here, Amir. Come here. Let me get you in this Boston Crab real quick.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's funny you should mention Jericho because he's still wrestling and he's pushing 50.
Dang, he's pushing 50.
Yeah. And then everyone talks about like the punishment that professional football players take. I'm not saying that it's just as worse because I mean, pro football is a very unforgiving sport as well.
Steroids is a great thing though. Steroids is steroids when you can use steroids freely.
Yeah.
I'm wrestling when I'm 52.
How much of that can you use though to get slammed on your back like Monday through it's Friday sometimes? It's like that's not even like you got to build a callus for that stuff. And I'm like, oh man, like I even seen like I see Brock Lesnar and he's pushing 40 and he's juiced to the gills. Yeah, he's juiced to the gills.
45.
But that guy is a monster, right? Yeah. And got cut by the Minnesota Vikings. It's like, oh shit. There's this other dude named Roman Reigns also played for Minnesota for a short stint.
A lot of
Yeah, and then he got cut too. So pro wrestling's like their thing.
It's not what you think, man. That was the biggest difference for me coming to the league is I thought everyone was going to be huge and I thought everybody was going to be just crazy. And of course you got your savages. You got your Khalil Max who are just strong as a freight truck and just really,
you make a great pro wrestler.
You got Devon Millers who would just move. Yep. He's a big guy who moves literally like me, if not better sometimes. You know what I mean? It's crazy. You know what I mean? You got your freaks, but across the board, some of the solid and good players in this league, they're not freak of natures. They're guys who are flexible.
Yeah.
If you move your hips and you're coordinated, you just have to battle. That's half the battle right there. Is if you think about what is extreme athleticism, all it is intent coordination. If you watch Odell Beckham, when he goes up and he does his one-hand grabs and all that stuff, it's crazy. But all he's done is he's mastered the art of controlling his body in coordination to see the ball point from point to snatch it at the right velocity.
That is crazy, though.
And this is one concept I had with one of my friends I spoke on like a week ago. Was a week ago, Bobby Schmurder. But anyways, I think everyone's like whatever you're good at as a person, all that is just knowledge. Right. So like I went to a John Mayer concert and I was just watching him shred the guitar recently. He was killing it. And I was just like, yeah, he's probably one of the greatest guitarists of all time, but really he's just mastered the knowledge of finger coordination and understanding pitch so well and music so well and rhythm so on point that he can do extraordinary things. That's just a level of knowledge he's reached that other people don't have.
Exactly.
And it's the same thing when you go back to Odell example. The reason why they say, oh, he's a good athlete, he's incredible. Yeah, he is, but what makes him that is knowledge. His brain, he has the ability he was born with that when the ball's in the air, he tracks the ball better than anyone I've ever seen with one hand too.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like his movements and all that. That's just mastering levels of the knowledge for athleticism.
You know what's crazy is that knowledge becomes contagious because whether it's Odell Beckham Jr. or John Mayer, people start to notice, they're like, oh shit, I want to do that. How does he do that? And then it becomes a science.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like, oh shit, okay.
If it wasn't knowledge that athleticism is, and knowledge, you need to be taught knowledge. Why the heck will we have coaches?
Exactly.
Teachers. So that's why you see some kids who start off as they have athleticism, but they have no knowledge. They have no football IQ. Then they get around those coaches and they form that and they become freaking greats.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's really what it is, man. It's knowledge.
What's funny is that same concept with learning how to play an instrument, for example. Like I grew up playing drums, and I got stuck at one point because I didn't have that mentor, But as soon as I did, boom, you just catapult. Then you decide how far you want to take the science. And in this case, you use examples like John Mayer. You use, I don't know, Jimi Hendrix. Right. Come on. I mean, those guys are they got to that point and they're like, fuck it, I'm going to go this way with it. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what they did. So, and now they're a staple. I mean, those three you can name in any household probably right now, and they'll know who they are. So, especially Jimmy.
Is that like the 10,000 hours of just working at it,
You got to be careful with that, though. I would say, especially Jimmy, just because this new generation that's coming up are some dummies. They some real dummies, man. So it's like you might say Jimmy, they really be like, Yachty? What? Yachty?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no. So it's probably in that list will probably be Odell Beckham in this time period that everyone knows him over John Mayer and Jimmy. I can see that for sure.
Oh yeah. Like I remember I think it was someone saw a poster of I think it was Bob Marley, and they confused him for an actor.
Okay.
And then they put a fake quote behind it because it wasn't the quote that Bob Marley said, and that went viral for a while.
Dang, that's crazy.
Especially on Twitter. I mean, Twitter is the number one culprit of making things go boom like that. And then slowly but surely, I'm like, okay, you see the people that are actually dropping the knowledge bombs, right? They're like, no, that's not him. I forgot what actor they were comparing him to, and then there was a fake quote behind it. And it wound up being a Martin Luther King quote on a Bob Marley picture. It's like, no, that's not him. It's a good quote, but it's not him. Yeah.
Man, I was afraid you were going to say someone thought it was Lil Wayne.
No, oh man, if that was the case, I would have been like, oh God, I need to log off. No.
Because I can see that happening.
Yeah. Point valid right there with Ameer. Like some of this new generation are just they're oblivious.
Yeah.
To some of the older stuff, man. Like straight up.
I feel like it's a respect thing because I listen to music that didn't come out. I listen to Herbie Hancock because I respect music. I love music so much. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. To go back and listen. Like somebody will do a cover of like a Bob Dylan song.
Yep.
And I don't just like, oh, this person was tight. I was like, who wrote this? Yep. Oh, this is a Bob Dylan. I didn't know anything about him. And I went back and I'm like, that cover isn't touching Bob Dylan.
Because that was the exact reason why Jimi Hendrix gets such a big influence on me today is because I was listening to John Mayer and I heard Bold as Love. I was just like, okay, singing Bold as Love. And I found out, I was like, wait, this is not his song. This is Jimmy's song.
Exactly.
And then I went back and I was listening. I was like, man, this dude's like talented. He really brought a different perspective of like vocalizing, all type of stuff.
I remember back in the 90s, it was Queen and David Bowie's Pressure song, Under Pressure, and Vanilla Ice had used the sample, and this whole tirade of like fair use came into play. Yeah, so MC Hammer did it too, and nobody talks about that. He did it with a Rick James song. Mm-hmm. He did it with Super Freak. And nobody talks about that. It's like, can't touch this.
Yeah, of course.
It was Super Freak just on a sample. And he just rapped over it.
I actually have a funny, I had a kid actually tell me that was a Vanilla Ice song. It was like adamant. And this dude I went to college with, man. I'm not gonna say his name. Right now. But this dude was literally adamant about it. He was like, no, man, that's Vanilla Ice. I was like, no, bro, that's a sample. Just kept trying to tell him, and I never got to prove to him the truth in what I was telling him.
Oh man,
it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. So I was just like,
I'm sure he found out eventually. Yeah. The internet uncovers a lot of things, especially the Bob Marley pictures.
Yeah, just putting somebody's picture and putting a quote. It's like, what? It'll be something from like Eleanor Roosevelt, and they put up a picture of Marilyn Monroe. It's like she never said that.
Oh man, hey man, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just want to thank you for being on the podcast, man. I really appreciate it.
No, man, I enjoyed it, man. It was fun, always fun. Be around, do it again sometime.
Yeah, and thank you, bro, for setting this up, man. Your brother's quite the gentleman and the scholar here, so yeah. But man, I just want to wish you
Game of Thrones. You watch Game of Thrones?
Man, don't even get me started.
Kareem is like Khaleesi. He has so many titles. So you got Kareem Abdullah, the master of taking out trash. The master of the ones and twos on the beats. Then you got Kareem Kenobi, the master of wisdom. Yeah, so many titles. They need to make him like a shirt. Make him a shirt with all his names.
We got to work on the brand.
Hey, I'm with it.
Branding.
Yeah, for sure, man. Hey, man, I just want to say have a great season. I wish you all the health, all the numbers, especially. Just so you won't get mad at me for being a Patriots fan, I did draft you my fantasy team. So.
Hey, man, that's what's up. Patriots
cool.
Are cool. That's what's up.
But yeah, best of luck this season,
I had
man.
a decent game against him a couple weeks ago. They're cool. All right, fellas, I'm out, man.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate you, man.
All right, bro.
All right, bye. Hey, that went well, man. Thanks for setting that up, man.
That was cool. I could talk on this forever, man. I forgot we were like. Yeah, forgot I had class.
It's fun. I know. I mean, I'm kind of keeping you up a little bit here, but
it's all good.
Yeah, for those of you listening, just a synopsis of who he is. he's the starting running back for the Detroit Lions. His name's Ameer Abdullah, and with me as well is his brother Kareem Abdullah. And we'll look at doing this again. So for you guys listening, again, this is the Ed Namrock podcast, available on iTunes and Google Play. Holla at your boy. Want to say anything? Any last words before you go?
I don't know how. I want to say something really vulgar and crazy.
Fuck it, man.
Wear a condom. Wear a seatbelt. Peace.
All right, y'all.